This is Jarrod Horak, and in this video, I'm going to give out my top choice for the 2024 Kentucky Oaks. Now, if you need past performances for Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby Day, you can find those at todaysracingdigest.com. And they also have their Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby Day complete digest editions, including past performances, analysis, pace and speed ratings, performance ratings, jockey and trainer stats, and much more. So head on over to todaysracingdigest.com for more details. I'll also be offering my Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby Day full cards at the Digest website and at my personal website, therunawayhorse.com, on my sales page. If you go over to my sales page, you'll see my full card schedule for the Triple Crown weeks. I'm going to be offering Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby Day full cards for Preakness Week, Black Eyed Susan Day, and then Preakness Day. And then for Belmont Stakes at Saratoga in June, we're going to have the 4-day Belmont Stakes Festival, and I'm going to do full cards for all 4 days. Now for this 2024 Triple Crown Series, for the Kentucky Oaks, I finished my analysis on April 30th. For the Kentucky Derby, I finished it on May 1st. And you can purchase those at therunawayhorse.com on my sales page. I've been doing these Triple Crown Series full cards a long time. I've had a lot of success, and I've been selling full cards online since 1998. So head on over to therunawayhorse.com if you're interested in any of that. Now we'll get into the analysis of the Grade 1 Kentucky Oaks at Churchill Downs on Friday, May 3rd. 11th race. The purse is $1.5 million for 3-year-old fillies traveling 1 1/8 on the main track. There's a 70% chance of thunderstorms. We could be looking at a wet track. And I think there are 5 horses that are realistic win contenders in this race. And the post time is 5:51 p.m. Eastern. Tapit Jenallie is number 1, 30-1 morning line. She's run 6 times with a couple wins, a second and a third. In the Fantasy Stakes last time, she was 3rd behind Thorpedo, a contender in this race. The Honeybee Stakes, she was 2nd there. So Lemon Muffin won that one, and she's in this race as well. So she's run okay. She's been kind of stuck earning the same type speed ratings. She's going to have to get faster. She'll probably save ground stalking the pace. And on a wet track, she's run twice, and she had 1 victory. Jin Jin is number 2. She's run 3 times on a wet track with a win, a second, and a third. And she's run 3 times at Churchill with a win and a second. She was 3rd in the Gazelle Stakes last time out. Prior to that, in the Busher Stakes, she finished 3rd. The Busanda Stakes, she was 1st. Also, in those points races, she ran okay. She likes to sit back about mid-pack. She's training decently for this race. Florent Giroux will ride for trainer Brad Cox. Number 3, Where's My Ring? This one broke her maiden in her 8th career start in the Grade 3 Gazelle Stakes last time out, and that qualified her for this race. She stalked and she won nicely. It looks like she wants every bit of the 1 1/8 distance of this race because she handled that distance in the Gazelle last time very easily. This is a better field. I think there's some better options in here, but she's one that does seem to be on the improve. 1 for 8 lifetime, 3 seconds and a third. She's run once on a wet track, and she did not finish in the top 3. Regulatory Risk is number 4, and she's run twice on a wet track, and she had 1 win. She's 0 for 1 at Churchill Downs. She's removing blinkers for trainer Chad Brown. Chad Brown has a more highly regarded contender in this race, Ways and Means. This is a daughter of Omaha Beach. Jose Ortiz will ride. She was 2nd in the Gazelle last time, and prior to that, she hit the board in the Busher Stakes, or she had to actually finish 5th in the Busher Stakes after stalking the pace from the inside post. And then prior to that, she broke her maiden in the mud at Aqueduct. She's going to have to elevate her game in here. She likes to be forwardly placed. I think a few others will be forwardly placed as well. Thorpedo is one of the logical win contenders in here for Kenny McPeak. It's just a question of, is 1 race this year enough to get her ready to win a race like this? She's run 4 times with 3 wins and a second. She's always been a horse that I've liked. She dominated her first 2 races around 1 turn at Keeneland and Churchill at 7 furlongs and 1 mile last year. I made her my top choice in the Grade 2 Goldenrod at Churchill. She was the favorite. She stalked. She finished 2nd there, and a decent effort at that. But then she was off a long time. I dropped her off my Oaks list just for inactivity. And she finally came back in the Fantasy Stakes on March 30th. And she didn't waste any time running a quality race. Post 10 in a 10-horse field. She was always traveling like a winner there. She stalked. She took over. She won by 4. Big effort. And she's one that, can she build on that and run a bigger race here in her second race off a layoff? Or will she need 1 more start before we see her best? If she does improve, she's a win contender. Lemon Muffin broke her maiden in a stakes race, just like Where's My Ring? This one broke her maiden in the Grade 3 Honeybee when they stretched her out in distance, and she was a 28-1 long shot. She stalked and won easily, but then in her next start in the Fantasy Stakes, she was 7th, beaten 10 lengths. She needs to run back to her Honeybee. She's run on a wet track once. She was 2nd, beaten a half length in the mud. Fiona's Magic. She'll be all over the pace. She's run once on an off track with a 2nd place finish. 3 wins, 2 seconds from 6 starts. But the problem is the Gulfstream Park Oaks, her toughest career test, she dueled and she weakened badly there, well beaten. So coming off of a poor effort, and I think that this field's even deeper, and she will be a pace factor. I just don't know that she wants to go a mile and an eighth against this kind of company. Tarifa, 7-2 morning line. She's the 2nd logical win contender in this race. This is a daughter of Bernardini, awesome against the dam sire. Strong pedigree. She's 4 for 5 lifetime. She's 0 for 1 at Churchill, and she's 1 for 1 on a wet track. Flavie and Pratt will ride for Brad Cox, and they're a good jockey trainer team. Godolphin owns this one. They also owned the winner of this race last year, Pretty Mischievous. She won her career debut at 7 furlongs at Keeneland. She disappointed 2nd time out, stalking the pace at Churchill. Shipped her to Fairgrounds over the winter. She won 3 consecutive races, including the Grade 2 Rachel Alexandra in the slop and the Grade 2 Fairgrounds Oaks on a fast track. She likes to stalk the pace. She's training well for this. The key to her is getting her to relax. Sometimes she can get a little headstrong. I think from post 8, that's a good post for her because I think she can work out a good stalking trip. If Flavie and Pratt can get her to relax, she can definitely win this race. Everland is next, and she's never run on a wet track. This is a daughter of Arrogate, and she was claimed for $30,000 out of a maiden claiming race, and she won that race. And then she won a starter allowance race, and these races were at Turfway Park. Cincinnati Trophy, she was 4th. Bourbonnette Oaks, she qualified for this race, rallying for the victory at 11-1 odds. Abel Cedillo will ride back. He rode her in her last 3 starts for trainer Eric Foster. She seems to be one that's going to have to elevate her game. She'll be a long shot in here. Into Champagne for trainer Ian Wilkes. Julian Leperoux is the rider. 4 starts, 2 wins, a 2nd and a 3rd. I think she's better around 1 turn. In her 1-turn debut at 5.5 furlongs, she dominated. Then she won the Glitter Woman at 6 furlongs in the slop. The Devona Dale, she stalked. She finished 2nd by a half length. Then they stretched her out in the Gulfstream Park Oaks to a mile and a 16th. She dueled, and she did hold 3rd there, but others ran better races. I just think she meets other speed. She's going a longer distance, and I don't think she wants to go a longer distance. Number 11, Ways and Means, is a solid win contender for trainer Chad Brown. She's one that's had 3 starts with a win and 2 seconds. She ran off the screen by 12 lengths in her Saratoga debut at 6 furlongs last year. The Spinaway Stakes, she had a lot of trouble. She clipped heels. She was actually injured in that race. She finished 2nd by a half length. She should have won it. And then in her much-needed return in the Grade 2 Gulfstream Park Oaks, I was surprised that she was 1-2. She hadn't run since September of 2023. She never raced over a route of ground. And in that Gulfstream Park Oaks, she was best there. She stalked. She was wide, though. She was shuffled around. She finally had good wide position, and she moved up and she took the lead, maybe a little bit short late. Power Squeeze ran her down, but she was clearly 2nd best. Tyler Gaffalione will ride back. Tyler Gaffalione has a good chance in that Oaks Derby double this year because he rides Sierra Leone for trainer Chad Brown as well. So for Ways and Means, I think they're going to want to get her out and into a clean trip this time because she could easily be 3 for 3. I can definitely see her moving forward in her 2nd start after a layoff. She's training lights out, including a 4 furlong bullet in 46 on April 26th. It's just a question of, just like Thorpedo Anna, can she move forward enough in her 2nd start after a long layoff and compete with some of these others that have had more than 1 prep race for this. Power Squeeze, number 12. She's 4 for 6 with a 2nd place finish. She won her last 4 starts. She's 4 for 4 in longer races. Her first 2 6 furlong races, she was 4th and 2nd. She beaten 8 lengths in the slop 2nd time out. And then in her last 4 fast track starts at Delaware Park, she broke her maiden at 1 mile by 4 lengths. She cut back to 1 turn in the Cash Run, a 1-turn mile. She won that one by 5 lengths. The Suncoast Stakes, she stalked. She won that one. The Gulfstream Park Oaks, she set a dream inside trip from the inside post. She won that one by a length over Ways and Means. I mentioned the trouble Ways and Means had in that race. Power Squeeze set a beautiful trip, and now she's out in post 12. Number 13, Just FYI, your 2-year-old filly champion, is the fourth logical win contender in here. Trainer Bill Mott, Justify is the sire here. She's 3 for 4 with a second. And just like a couple of these, she is another one that can she come in her second start after a long layoff, be able to jump up and win this race. She won all 3 starts last year as the 2-year-old filly champion, including the Grade 1 Frizette, Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Juvenile fillies. In that latter race, she overcame post 12. They got her out of the gate quickly, and she was able to hold on by a neck. She was all over the pace. The pace was quick. I don't think they would have sent her out there like that if she didn't draw post 12. They just needed to get out of the gate. And then she got sick and she missed the Devona Dale, and then they had to get a prep into her, and that prep was the Grade 1 Ashland, and it was a decent enough effort. She just was grinding away, and she finished a decent second. Second after a layoff. She's really training well. She's looking good. She should move forward. It's just a question of can she move forward enough in her second start after the layoff. I think she can. She's definitely a win contender. Leslie's Rose, number 14, for trainer Todd Pletcher. This is the daughter of Into Mischief, and they paid $1.15 million for her. Irad Ortiz Jr. will ride. She's 4 to 1. 3 wins and a second from 4 starts. Looked really good in her first 2 sprints. And then in the Devona Dale, she was 30 cents on the dollar, and she just finished a flat third there. And then in the Ashland, she relaxed nicely. She worked out a great inner trip, and she won by 3 lengths. She was definitely best there, but just FYI was second, and she needed that race. So Leslie's Rose is going to have to overcome post 14 in here. If she can do that, she's the 5th win contender. As I mentioned, 5 horses can definitely win this race. And Our Pretty Woman, the first, also eligible. If she gets in, she would impact the pace. And then Candied, number 16, a late runner for Todd Pletcher. She would be making just her second start this year if she gets in. So I think this one comes down to Leslie's Rose, just FYI, towards the outside, Ways and Means. And then you have Tarifa, and then you also have Thorpedo Anna. I think one of those horses is going to win this race, and I'm going to go with the 8 Tarifa as my top choice. Now, she's the 7 to 2 tepid morning line favorite. Wouldn't be surprised if one of the other fillies was the favorite. Just FYI could be the favorite. Ways and Means could be the favorite. It's going to be interesting to see how they bet this race, but I'm going to go with Tarifa as my top choice. She comes out of the most productive race for the Kentucky Oaks, the Fairgrounds Oaks, typically a strong prep for the Kentucky Oaks. She's in good form. She continues to earn better speed ratings. She likes to win races, and she has good tactical speed. Flavien Prat's going to work out a good trip. If she's good enough, she can definitely win the Kentucky Oaks. She handles the slop. She handles a fast track as well. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this horse racing content. Keep checking my YouTube channel. More Kentucky Derby videos, Preakness videos, and then as we go through the whole Triple Crown series, I'm going to be doing lots of videos on my YouTube channel. Until I see you next time, good luck at the races.